Hey, this is Dave Hurlow. Deep Sea Feline is a book that I wrote. Decafwolf is a band that I play in. And I'm very happy to be here with this man named Mike. His name is Mike, as I understand.
What up, Mike?
That is correct, sir.
Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get a city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get a city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get a city love. My city love me back for my city love. I'm in Toronto.
Welcome to episode 1875 of Toronto Mic'd, an award-winning podcast proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery. Order online at greatlakesbeer.com for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Visit palmapasta.com for more. Fusion Corp's own Nick Iones. He's the host of Building Toronto Skyline. And Mike and Nick, two podcasts that you ought to listen to. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. And Ridley Funeral Home. Pillars of the community since 1921. Joining me today, making his Toronto Mic's debut, it's Dave Hurlow. Welcome, Dave.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. You had to make the trek on, it's April 7th, 2026, as we record. And you'd think it would be spring-like possibly, but it's like winter outside.
This is the time of year that I insist on wearing my cute spring jacket. And then I'm like colder than I was in January because
you're not dressing for the weather.
I'm not dressing. So for me, April is actually the coldest month every year because relatively speaking, I get colder because I'm just being foolish.
I so get that because on Friday, it was a good Friday indeed. We hit like 20 something degrees and we're in shorts. And then your brain does you hit that switch, which is like, oh, I'm no longer bundling up for the cold winter weather. I'm now switching over. And then when you get hit with a day like today, and when I was doing this short bike ride with my youngest this morning, it was actually snowing. Like I could see snowflakes. It's like, oh, I remember now. I used to wear like 3 or 4 layers for this, and I used to wear the winter gloves, and now I sort of had my brains, I got to switch it back. April can be the coldest month because you stop dressing for the weather.
That's correct. That's my experience, certainly.
You've already made an astute observation. I can tell you're a clever man here. We're going to get into it because you just mentioned you wrote a book.
That's correct.
And I've read your book. We're going to talk about your book.
You read it? Oh, thanks for reading it, man.
Oh,
That's
I read
so
it. You
nice.
know who sent it to me?
Was it Bedini?
Dave Bedini.
Yeah, Dave Bedini. He's good, that Bedini.
Well,
he's
off
on it.
The top, tell us, how do you know? I mean, we all know him. He's a very famous musician. But how do you personally know Dave Bedini?
Actually, the way that came about, it was organic in a really lovely way. It was that I had written this book and I was going through the process, the terrible process that writers go through, where I was, I'd written my query and I'd done my research and I had looked up all the different Toronto agencies and I'd sent out a lot of my submissions. And while I was doing my research, I think this was like late pandemic. I don't know exactly when, but
right.
I stumbled across something called the Ballpoint Agency, and I'm reading about it, and it's yada, 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 Dave Bedini. And I was like, wait a second. I know who Dave Bedini is. Dave Bedini is a guy who plays in a rock band and he writes books. And because the book that I wrote, because I'm a musician and I play in bands, and the book is so much about the music scene in Toronto, I was like, if anybody's going to get this book, I feel like Dave Bedini's going to get it. And then the really nice connection that made it kind of organic is my dear friend and my old boss at a great organization called Story Planet is Bedini's neighbor. So I got the intro through her. She reached out and said, this guy, Dave Hurlow, he wrote a book. He wants to pitch it to you, but he wanted to know if he could just email you directly rather than going through the getting lost in the.
That's called the rigmarole.
Yeah. I love a good rigmarole. So So yeah, it happened really quick. Like I sent him, like the submission guidelines for most agencies, they want very little. They're like, send us like literally 2 pages of your book. And I sent him 2 pages and he got back to me right away. And he said, I like it. Send me the whole book. He read it in 2 weeks. And so this thing that feels very hopeless where you're like cold emailing agencies and they're like, we'll get back to you in 6 months, maybe. And then with Bedini, it was like I had the nice organic connection, and then just super quickly he read it, he liked it, he wanted to agent it, and so it was great.
Okay, well, I love that story, and I've never experienced that. I wrote a book, now I need it published, rigmarole. Like I can only imagine. I can barely read a book. Okay, so I don't know who I would be to write a book, but I have a friend who just wrote a book, and he kind of went through this. I'm looking at it now. It's called Track Changes. Shout out to Cam Gordon. But but you're not a normie. I don't think you're just a regular guy who wrote a book. Like you're Dave Hurlow.
Sure.
But like Dave, you've been in bands, one particularly, that the average Canadian music aficionado knows.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not Real Statics, okay? What's the big band that you were in?
The band that I was in, I think they go just by Darcys now. They dropped the. But when I was in the band, we were called the Darcys.
Yeah, the Darcys, that's a highly regarded, recognized Canadian music success story.
Sure.
You were in the band.
Yeah, I mean, I was. It didn't. I mean, we did okay. Like, it didn't feel like a huge success when I was in the band. Like, but I mean, I guess that's part of being a writer and a musician, is that even if from the outside, sometimes it can look really successful, whereas like actually making a decent living is a whole different.
I get it completely. Like I have so many musicians on this show, and it's like, okay, I know the name of your band. I've heard your music on the radio. Where's the Bentley parked? Like where exactly, where is your limousine going to pick you up after this recording? It's like, yeah, I'm going to jump on the streetcar or whatever. There's a complete disconnect in this country, I find, between like, oh, I know that band, I know that music, and oh, they were financially compensated appropriately for their art.
I mean, well, even like because the Darcys, like, okay, so the story of the Darcys was...
would you mind? Like, I know you wrote the book, and we're going to talk about the book. Can we do like some Darcys talk off the top? Just
sure. I mean, I'll give you the Coles notes of like, I mean...
I don't want the Coles notes. I want the deep dive.
Well, I mean, I'll see what I can remember. But basically it was... me and some fellas who were attending UKC, University of King's College in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which very famously, like the gross population of the student body comes from Toronto, and Haligonians hate it. And anyway,
yeah, because you grew up in Toronto.
I grew up. Yeah,
you're a Toronto guy.
I'm a Toronto guy. Grew up in Toronto in Moore Park near St. Clair and Mount Pleasant. And I've lived in Toronto my whole life, except for basically when I was in Halifax for
that's funny.
For my undergrad. But I mean, that's what a lot of Toronto kids do, is they go to Nova Scotia, they go to Halifax, and then they come back. So yeah. So
what did you study at King's College University in Halifax?
I got a degree in it was called the Contemporary Studies program. And basically critical theory. It's just reading and regurgitating, and
that's pretty much what I did.
And English lit at Dal. So it was all like I just knew I liked reading books, and so I just wanted to do a degree where I just read books and wrote about books.
Okay, Dave, here's something we have in common. So I went to U of T because I didn't get to go to Halifax, so I got to bike or jump on a subway, get my ass to U of T. But I took a double major, English and history, because I like to read. I was a good writer. I was able to take in information and sort of argue things, both orally and in written form. And what are you going to do with that skill set? Except maybe one day you'll start a podcast, right? But that's so I studied English and history, and it sounds like if you're studying like English literature and critical theory at King's College University in Halifax, similar vibe, except you're in Halifax.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there was an expectation to go to university, and I just thought like that's really the only thing I can figure out that I'm interested in. So So I ended up there, and it is a weird degree, but I think, to be honest, like I've had a weird trajectory, and it has actually served me really well. And I'm actually currently, as a mature student, I'm in the Bachelor of Education program at York, and you need to have a 4-year, you need to have an undergrad to get your teaching degree.
So it's a mandatory prerequisite that came in handy.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are you doing back at school?
I'm doing my teaching degree, just my straight my 2-year. I've stretched it over 3 years because I have a young kid at home, so that takes up a lot of my time. But I'm having a little kid at home.
Yeah, well, I got 4 of them, and they're
wow.
complete annoyances and always in the way. Like, I want to do something fun this weekend, and it's like, oh no, my son's turning 12. I can't go have fun. I gotta celebrate with him.
I have one kid, and he's 2.5 now.
Okay.
His name's Leonardo. Shout out to Leonardo.
Yeah, I hope he's listening.
And
in the future, maybe.
And man, I don't know, like 4. I mean, like because the first 2 years, like it's almost like being drunk. Like you just totally. Right. And so now I'm sort of getting to do fun things and go out a little bit more. And he's like, I mean, he's just at the age. I'm starting a music class with him next week, and like now when we're in the car, I'll be tapping out a beat on the steering wheel and singing, and he'll sing along, and so I'm just like, oh my god, okay, this is where it's gonna kind of start to.
Well, it only gets better, man. I can tell you, it gets better and better and better. But I'm guilty of thinking every age my kid is like, oh, that's the best age. Like, so it's all.
I mean,
good.
I love to hear that.
It's all good, man.
I love to hear that.
Unless your kid turns into be some kind of an asshole or something. But
sure.
Assuming that you can avoid the asshole gene, you're in for a good time, man.
An acceptable level of assholeness.
Like a little bit,
we all need we all need.
You know what? There's a line though, right? Like, I don't want you to be too nice. Okay, I don't want you to be like Rob Pruce, for example. You need maybe be a little bit of an asshole, but too much of an asshole. I don't have time for that.
I know, and then that's your kid, and then you got to deal with it
You're
forever.
Stuck with it for 18 years.
I mean, if they're a real asshole, they'll just stop calling you eventually. So,
you can only hope.
That would be the silver lining, I guess.
So you're at King's College University in Halifax.
That's right.
Is this where you meet people who would be the Darcys?
There ended up being, like, in the first few years, there were some sort of personnel changes where initially it was a dude named Kirby Best, and he was a very soulful songwriter. And then I met Jason and Wes, and those are the guys that are still like as far as I understand, it's just a duo now. Like it's just those 2 guys. So I met Jason and Wes. We were jamming, the 3 of us, but none of us were songwriters at that point. So we kind of brought in Kirby because he was writing songs. He was actively writing songs.
Right.
And what the first few Darcys shows was it was just playing at the pub, the Wardroom, at King's College. And what we would do is we would play these long, kind of old school 2-set shows, and it was a lot of like some classic rock stuff. Like we played like a Stones cover and like Talking Heads, but because it was like at that time, which would have been, I think, like 2005, 2006, it was like the huge like indie rock explosion. So we would do stuff that was really popping off at the time. We would do covers by like, Broken Social Scene and Arcade Fire, and kind of mix that in with some Talking Heads, some Tragically Hip, some Blue Rodeo. And so it was kind of like it was like a Canadian, like indie smorgasbord. And then like, I think the first show we played, we had like 2 originals out of like 20 songs that we did. And then slowly over the next couple of years, it got to a point where it was like, a third of it was originals. And it was actually, I think that's a really great way to start a band, because I learned so much in those years. Like I don't have any musical training, but I would just sit with my bass guitar and I would listen to all these songs, and like we did a great cover of Toxic by Britney Spears. I just remember listening to these songs and picking out the bass lines by ear. Wow. And so I got really good. That's how I basically got good at the bass, was just learning how to pick out bass lines, playing them. And then we would do these marathon gigs, kind of beer soaked university time things. And that was the start of it. So it started out very much just kind of.
You touched on it, but there was this absolute wave of like, big indie rock coming out of Canada. Like that era. I actually have a ticket. I have a ticket in August to sit on the lawns and watch Broken Social Scene, Metric, and Stars.
Yeah.
Okay. But this, I mean, I just recently watched the Broken Social Scene documentary.
Oh, so good.
Excellent.
Like, so good.
Just you get a vibe. Oh, there's Leslie Feist hanging out there. And
I can't believe they got that footage. That's all I was going to say.
That one guy just took all that footage.
Like, unbelievable that they had all that footage, because you're watching it, it's like Stars and Suns. You've heard it, like, I've listened to that song like a million times, and to see him like in real time, he's like, oh, what do I play this? It's kind of like boom, 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 and you're like, that's the moment.
Absolutely. Brendan Canning's been over, so I'm going to shout out the Brendan Canning episode. And that's a great ep because, of course, he was in Head with Noah Mintz. And they had some 90s success with Happy and all that. But then he's sort of he's the DJ guy who brings the sample to Len, and he's involved in the Len project where you get the big Toronto hit Steal My Sunshine. So he's done, so just a fascinating, we call him in the TMU, the Toronto Mike universe, we call him like, he's kind of like Grout. He fills in all these cracks along the way. Yeah. But in this scene, this explosion, the Darcys are a part of that. Like I know Jason and Wes, like they're the duo who still, they're still Darcys.
They're still Darcys, yeah.
And they were Etobicoke guys, right?
They were very much so, yeah.
Like that's right. So they were an Etobicoke duo, and Rio Statics, big famous Etobicoke band.
Yeah.
See, you're attracted to Etobicoke.
Sure, I guess so.
And you're in Etobicoke right now.
I think my dad lived here. My dad's dad was a captain in the RCMP, and they moved around a lot. But I think there was a long stretch that they were actually. I'm not sure where, but I told him where I was going today, and he was like, "Oh, you're probably going to get off at Islington or whatever."
Yeah, he gave you the deets. How do you get to South Etobicoke?
Yeah, exactly.
And here you are. It worked out. Okay. I'm going to give you a couple of things. You're going to give me something, but we're not done with the Darcys quite yet.
That's fine.
But I can't wait to talk about Deep Sea Feline.
Sure.
Which I read. It's a piece of fiction. I actually find I gravitate towards, maybe because of the work I'm doing, and I'm trying to fill my head with the real talk, the knowledge, the fun facts, the mind blows. But I typically read nonfiction, like typically. So it was kind of fun to have an escape, and I'll elaborate on this later, but what I loved about it is how Toronto it is. Like, I totally love, like, oh, I'm on Queen Street now, and it gave me like Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie vibes. You know what I mean? Like, oh, there's the Rivoli.
Yeah.
Have you seen that film yet?
I'm very eager to, but I have not.
Okay, we're gonna pause this recording. You're gonna go to Islington and Queensway, see if it's playing there. You're gonna watch it and come right back. Okay.
And Matt Johnson's sister Emily Johnson was at King's with us too.
Oh
so there's another connection.
That's amazing. And he did the Blackberry movie, which I quite liked. Oh my god,
it was so good. That was a great one.
Okay, I'm glad you're here, but I'm going to give you some gifts here, and then we're going to get back to the Darcys. I know you have a gift for me too.
Sure,
but,
I do. Yeah,
but maybe we save that. Not yet. Is it related to the book?
No.
What's it related to?
The gift?
Yeah.
It's my band shirt.
Okay,
it's a shirt
what's the name of your current band?
It's called Decafwolf.
Decafwolf. Okay.
Yeah.
So after we do the Darcys thing, you're going to fill me with knowledge about Decafwolf, and then you can give me that.
Yeah.
May I send you home with a large frozen lasagna courtesy of Palma Pasta?
I mean, I would love that. Yeah.
Do you like Italian food?
I love it. I do like it. And my son is going to love it too. He's going to crush He's going to crush a bunch of that.
Kids love Palma Pasta. So everybody support Palma Pasta. The Petrucci family run it. It's just an institution in the West End here. They're in Mississauga and Oakville. Go to palmapasta.com. Speaking of institutions in Etobicoke, because Palma Pasta is in Mississauga and Oakville. But Great Lakes Brewery, what a tremendous, independent craft brewery, and it's brewed not too far from where we're sitting right now. So I'm sending you home with some fresh craft beer from Great Lakes Brewery.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, and also one of them, so there are 3 beers, but this guy here is, I'm going to try it for the first time right now. I'm going to pop it and try it. I've never tried it. It's a hop pop. There's no alcohol in this. It's not a beer, but it's infused with coffee.
Oh, this is good. This is good news.
So you got one too.
Yeah.
Yours is actually, you could pop it if you want, but I'm going to pop it now. I've never had the hop pop with coffee from Great Lakes Brewery. So here we go. You ready, Dave? I'm nervous. What if I hate it and I spit it out?
I mean, you should probably lie and say that you like it. Don't spit it on your computer.
Oh, it's very good. I'm glad I don't have to fake it. It's excellent. So it's got that hot pop with a bit of coffee. I'm digging it.
I'm gonna love this, man. I'm a big fan of Sam James too. So I'm very excited. I mean, obviously, Decafwolf. I'm very excited in particular about my caffeinated beverages.
Decaf, yeah, but it's got to be decaf apparently.
Well, I mean, I can tell you about the legend of the Decafwolf and where the name came from, but I feel like it's not time for that yet. We're still not done with the Darcys talk.
I'm in charge here, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
Follow my
I hear
lead.
you, man.
We're doing a bit more Darcys.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little Decafwolf.
That's great.
For sure.
That sounds good.
Then we're going to talk about your book.
Cool.
And you're going to have a great time. You understand?
Sounds like a good itinerary, and now I feel like comfortable and taken care of.
Well, you know what? Sometimes we wing it, but today I'm well structured.
Good.
And I'm giving you, to celebrate my structure, I'm giving you a measuring tape. Speaking of institutions in South Etobicoke, Ridley Funeral Home are at Lakeshore and 14th. They're pillars of this community. They have a great podcast called Life's Undertaking. This measuring tape is for you, Dave.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome.
This is nice.
Yeah, you didn't know you were getting swag.
It's so compact.
You know, you never know when you have to measure something. And
It's
now you're
true.
taken care of.
I never thought I would have to measure things, but
Yeah, all the time. It's like, oh, I should measure that. Well, now you can. Okay. I would like to tell you about another podcast. So Life's Undertaking is from Ridley Funeral Home. Great Lakes Brewery have a podcast called Between Two Fermenters, and Nick Iones has a podcast called Building Toronto Skyline. He recorded live just last Thursday with, you're from the East End. Is your counselor by any chance Brad Bradford?
I believe so.
So he's running for mayor. Have you heard this?
I have not heard about it.
He talked to Nick on Building Toronto Skyline. I was hired by Nick to produce the live event, and no technical problems. Sounded great. We got audio, video, everybody in attendance. There was a big crowd, and it all went off without a hitch. That's me patting myself on the back, but people can hear that conversation on Building Toronto Skyline by Nick Iones. And last but not least, and then it's all you the rest of the way, Dave. So I would like to tell you about recyclemyelectronics.ca. Because if you have old cables, maybe you have old devices, old laptops, maybe in a drawer or a closet, or who knows, maybe you have a room for this crap. Don't throw it in the garbage, Dave. Go to recyclemyelectronics.ca, stick in your postal code, and find out where you can drop it off to be properly recycled.
Thanks for the tip.
Don't forget. Okay, I'm going to play a little music, and then you're going to follow my structure here. So, just a little bit just to get us warmed up here. Let's see if you can name that tune.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in a long time, actually.
So bring it back.
This holds up.
Name that tune, Dave.
That would be Don't Bleed Me.
Correctamundo, the Darcys. So that will help us get going here. So it sounds like Jason and Wes have the Darcys is like their two-piece project. It's those two guys, but they're going to university in Halifax. And it sounds like they meet a guy named Kirby Best and some handsome young man named Dave Hurlow. Does that sound right?
That's so far correct.
Now we have a full band formed in Halifax, Nova Scotia that is the Darcys. Do you know how they came up with the name the Darcys?
I mean, it's actually, I came up with the name.
Whoa!
And it was because we, in my English class, we were studying Pride and Prejudice. And it's actually a very, now looking back, I guess when you're 20, you can be very vain and egotistical, but it's quite a vain thing to call yourself Mr. like the Darcys after Mr. Darcy, because he's like the most eligible bachelor in fiction.
Absolutely. So you're the man who said, hey, how about the Darcys? And it just stuck.
That's my memory.
Well, I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure, and I'm glad you're here. You're setting the record straight. If those two guys had already going by the name the Darcys in Etobicoke before they head out to Halifax, but it sounds like that name, the Darcys, is coming out of Halifax because Dave Hurlow was taking that English class and said, hey, how about the Darcys?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're not going to go too deep because you're not going to spend 90 minutes on the Darcys, but can you tell me a little bit about how you get signed to a deal with the legendary record label Arts and Crafts, okay? You mentioned Broken Social Scene. I mentioned Leslie Feist. This is the place to be back then.
Yeah, so what happened? So yeah, we all moved back to Toronto. Kirby's still in the band. Those guys, Jason and Wes, are getting a little bit more involved in the writing. And then a guy named Mike Lariche joins the band. And it was funny. Yeah, he came on and we had him playing a lot of trumpet initially, but at some point we lost the trumpet and he was sort of our guitar ninja. He just like really could rip. I think he lives in Mimico.
Wow.
I think he lives in Mimico.
Send him over.
He like builds his own synths and shit now. He has a great he has a record that came out a few years ago. Oh, I wish I could if I remember the band name, I'll let you know. Sure. But really good record. Anyway, Mike joins the band. So for a while there's 5 of us. We did some really like road dog indie cross Canada tours, like really well. I think like
hardcore logo style.
It was like at one point there was like a weird show where like a kid like had a knife and he stole our van. Just this stuff that's just like and just
right.
It was like thinking back to those tours, man. Like that was really crazy.
See, if you had a person just filming that whole damn time, you'd have yourself a documentary, right?
Yeah, we would for sure. It was some compelling stuff. But anyway, let's see. Okay, so then there's 5 of us, and then at some point along the way, I feel like Kirby. I think it was a combination of things. I think it was that he had trouble like. When we would perform, I think he had a little bit of anxiety around it sometimes. And then I think there was some interpersonal stuff where there was some creative conflict between Wes and Jason and him, because he was writing these songs, but then the songs were kind of getting changed around a bit. And so it was maybe not like totally comfortable, but anyway, at some point he sort of exits. And then we're 4. So it's Jason, Wes, me, and Mike Lariche. And then it was that our manager, Aaron Miller, he took us on to manage us, and he had a job for Arts and Crafts. And what ended up happening is he basically snuck us in. He somehow,
wow.
And it was funny too, because I remember at the time they were like, oh, we're going to start this like Arts and Crafts junior, like, imprint for like smaller bands or something. And then I think, as far as I remember, the only reason that they didn't do it is that they couldn't come up with a name that Kevin Drew was happy with. So they just said, all right, fuck it. We're just you're going to be on the Big Boy label.
Wow.
And so, and I remember being amazed, because I was like, we're on the Big Boy label. We don't have to be on like the little like Arts and Crafts Junior thing. And so that was it. And our first record, because we had an indie record, we had an EP and a record that had come out, self-released, and then self-titled. Yeah. So then self-titled came out. That was on Arts and Crafts, and that was part of the 3 record deal. That was my sort of, tenure with the band, was like there was an EP, there was an indie record that we made, there was self-titled, then there was Warring. And somewhere in there was the Steely Dan Asia track for track.
I was going to ask you, where does... Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to it yet, but I was reading about...
Yeah, that one actually... So those two guys, Jason and Wes, they are like hardcore heads for Steely Dan. They got me into it, and I got to say, like, I love Steely Dan. I mean, every record, so good. And so this was a thing that we did where we just said, I don't remember where the idea came from, but we did track for track, every song on, and picking out bass lines by ear. Like, man, some of the playing on those records was nuts. So that was...
Well, when you're testing a new hi-fi stereo system, you might throw in some Steely Dan to test it.
And actually, I have such a distinct memory of, like, we did a 5-night tour where we were doing all of Steely Dan's Asia and then a few of our, Darcys tracks. And because it was so difficult to execute, I remember the first 3 shows were terrible. We like couldn't get it together.
Right.
And it wasn't clicking, and it just didn't feel good. And then I remember the second to last night was Ottawa at Zaphod Bibelbrox, and then the last night was like sold out Lee's Palace. And those two, I distinctly remember those 2 shows as like my favorite Darcys show, because we were playing this crazy like prog music that was so intricate, and I just remember being in that total sort of hypnotic flow state on stage, where some of the sections, there's like, we're hitting like 13 notes in a row in like through these crazy sections, and very memorable. So that was it though. It was self-titled Steely Dan's Asia. Did you call it
Steely? So it's the Darcys' interpretation of Steely Dan's 1977 release Asia.
Yeah, and it came out on vinyl. I think it was colored vinyl. And I was such a weird thing that we did, and really proud of that one. That was really cool.
Sounds cool. But then Warring, I have questions about Warring. Actually, I'm going to play. Can I play one more song here?
Yeah, go for it, man.
You can't stop me, can you?
You got to play a Decafwolf song though later.
I will. If it's on YouTube, I'll play it. How's that for a pledge?
That sounds fair.
Oh, I think this is ripped from the video, so you got a bit of...
For a minute, I bought in. All the things that you didn't know. Wrap your hands around me, and I wanna
All right, we're talking Warring. Hard to say the word Warring. Maybe it's just me.
It is a bit awkward. I agree. I wasn't in charge of coming up with
You didn't name that. You named the band, not the album.
That's right.
Okay, so Warring, the third album by the Darcys. This gets quite a bit of critical acclaim. It is not just nominated for a Juno. Who won the 2014 Alternative Album of the Year?
Oh, it was a great privilege to lose to the Arcade Fire that year.
Oh, what a juggernaut. Okay, so Arcade Fire. Tough to take on Arcade Fire there. Okay, so you were nominated, though, and that's pretty awesome. But also you earned a spot on the Polaris Music Prize long list, the 2014 Polaris Music Prize long list. So maybe it's interesting to me that this album comes out in late 2013, and you're out of the band in 2014, right?
I don't know the timeline exactly, but I think we did. I distinctly remember when I decided I wanted to leave the band that I was like, we had one more tour, and that was it was still on Warring, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna fulfill my commitments, and then I'm gonna call a band meeting, and I'm gonna quit.
Why were you going to? Why did you quit?
Just to add one thing,
Yeah.
one really nice thing was I remember the very last show that I played was when they were, I don't know if they still do, but it was Friday Night Live at the ROM. And so getting to play a rock show with like dino skeletons all around me.
That's rad.
I was like, this is a good way to go out. But I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I think I would say, the simplest way to say it is I was about to turn 30. We weren't, making a living necessarily as musicians. And it felt like the end of something. Like we had kind of completed this album cycle, and like we were kind of starting to go in a different direction musically. I had put out my first book, which was a collection of short stories called Hate Letters from Buddhists, which I don't believe is in print anymore. And I kind of wanted to go more into writing fiction. So it was a confluence. Like there were a lot of different things, but it was a very natural point. Like we had been touring so much, like I was kind of just tired of it. And
did you think it would be more lucrative by that point? Like, is there any of that? Like, I want to have a family and live
I don't know
in,
if I
Toronto?
I don't know if I ever really thought about that. I think to me, like it was less a financial consideration, and I think it was, to be honest, I think it was a lot of it was that Jason and Wes had a very strong creative partnership and songwriting process, and it wasn't a project that I was contributing to in a significant way, like the creative materials of the band. So
it was their band.
It was their band at that point. So it's hard to want to put like all of your life energy into something where, it was a fun band to play the bass in, but like I didn't want it to be the sort of the primary thing that I was doing, and not be, like it just wasn't fulfilling enough to keep putting like so much energy into like just playing the bass. Oh, that's a good song.
Oh, you're not supposed to be peeking at my screen here, Dave. Okay, I'm setting things up. I'm like the wizard behind the curtain.
You just click on one at random. That's great.
That's coming because we're going to turn the channel to that in mere seconds
sorry
here.
for the spoiler,
but
there.
It is worth noting. So if you hear new, there's still Darcys, right? So if you hear Darcys now, you're not playing on it. So you left at some point in 2014. You did mention that you had already kind of pivoted to writing because you mentioned Hate Letters from Buddhists. Mm-hmm. And I also was reading about Story Planet. So so Hate Letters from Buddhists, this is you realizing, I can publish like a short story collection and that, I can be a writer, I can be an author, if you will. Like, so I'm just wondering, so that happens, and Story Planet, maybe you can say a word or two about Story Planet, but this is all like post. And then we'll do Decafwolf, and then we'll talk about this great new book.
I mean, I would love to say a word about Story Planet. Huge shout out to Story Planet. If people don't know about it, it's a really, really great Toronto nonprofit organization. They actually have a storefront on the west side of Bathurst, just south of DuPont. So pop in if you get a chance. But in essence, what they do is that they provide creative workshops. So a lot of it is creative writing, visual theater workshops for schools, and primarily their funding is earmarked for schools in neighborhood improvement areas and schools that are at the top of the what's called the LOI, the Learning Opportunity Index. So that basically just means the schools that need resources more than other schools. And a lot of the facilitators are, professional writers, actors, a lot of graphic novel. Actually, Bilal was someone who I worked with when I was working for Story Planet, and they have a show that I think was a big success called Sort of on CBC. Do you know that one?
Not ringing a bell.
Anyway, so a lot of cool people.
That just means it's so cool. I'm not cool enough to consume it. Check it out.
It's really strong. Anyway, point being, I got involved with Story Planet, and so what I was doing for them, I started as a volunteer, and then I kind of got the hang of it, and then I started facilitating workshops, and then I actually started developing some of the programming that we were delivering in schools. And it was just, it could be challenging and it could be stressful, but when everything went well, it's just like the pure joy of spontaneous creativity, coming up with these like really wacky, weird stories. Yeah, it's so fun.
Which sounds really, I'm glad that exists. Like, that's great that you got to, work with that organization. That's cool. Okay. And the hate letters from Buddhists, you just up and said, hey, I guess we're in about 2014 here, which is the same year that you leave the Darcys. So it's like, it's not my project. I'm going to start doing other things. And you started writing. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is all setting us up for Deep Sea Feline, but we're going to take a pit stop because you're in a band right now. Mm-hmm. And your band is called Decafwolf.
That's correct.
May I play Nos? Okay, so the song I played from Warring, I don't think I ever named the song. What was the name of that?
Oh, it was, that was Pretty Girls.
Pretty Girls.
Pretty Girls featuring, and then the Moog bass on that I was remembering because it was quite choice.
Well, let's listen to Nosferatu Hands.
Sure.
By Decafwolf, everybody. I believe a 2023 release.
Oh, girl, I found you living in your castle with its rococo room, subterranean tombs, and a million candles, lots of candles. Oh, girl, I saw you working on your night moves, pulling peasants apart with your nose for a two hands, with your two hands. Oh, girl, I came here trying to get my head straight. Now I'm falling in love. Won't you take off your gloves? Please don't be so self-conscious. We both want this. Oh, girl, I really want to get to know you, but every time that we speak, man, I'm falling asleep. Sort of feels like hypnosis, bed of roses.
Tell me about Decafwolf, please. I need to know everything.
Wait, you gotta hear the chorus.
Okay,
You
we're
gotta hear
turning
the
it up.
chorus.
We're turning it up.
You know I love you, but you gotta stop drinking my blood. You know I love you, but you gotta stop drinking my blood. You know I love you, but you gotta stop drinking my blood. You know I love you, but you gotta stop drinking my blood.
All right.
Well, you're the conductor, man. If you go like this, it comes up. If you can bring it down, it comes
I just
down.
wanted. I feel like that chorus slaps.
No, I love
so
it.
I wanted to.
No, this is cool. Decafwolf. This is Nosferatu Hands.
Yeah.
Just tell me about this band you're in now.
Yeah, well, that song in particular, that's a song about a man who is on vacation and he goes to a castle and he meets a person and falls in love with them, and then it turns out they're a vampire and they eat him and they eat him up. So yeah,
Which happens.
it happens. So anyway, yeah, Decafwolf. It started out. I'll tell you about the name actually, because it is a weird name. I was working at a coffee shop, lit espresso bar at like College in Ossington. This was like, I don't know when this was, but anyway, for some reason, someone had left like a Halloween wolf mask on, and we put it on the hopper that had the decaf beans in it. And there was a staff party where there was a lot of drinking that happened. And at one point, someone was taking a video, and I took the mask and I put it on, and "Call Me Al" by Paul Simon was on.
Right.
And I don't, when you're drunk and you like try to break dance and it just looks fucking crazy because you don't know how to do it.
It is tough to breakdance to that song.
Yeah,
a man
I
walks
don't
down
know.
the street, says, "Why am I soft in the middle now? Why am
Yeah.
I soft in the middle? The rest of my life is so hard."
I don't know. It's not typically broke dancing to, but
Jeez.
but anyway, and then people just started calling me Decafwolf.
Okay.
So it happened again organically, and then the other reason that I liked it as a band name is it sort of was an homage to the wolf bands of our youths. Speaking of the indie explosion, we had our
Wolf Parade.
wolf.
I just talked to the guy from Wolf Parade a couple weeks
which
ago.
guy?
The main guy
Well, I feel like there's two. It was like the two.
Yeah,
it was
there
like
was a
Dan
duo, but-
and then Spencer.
Spencer. I was chatting with Spencer.
Oh, cool.
'Cause
He's
Spencer-
having a moment because of the heated rivalry thing.
100% having a moment because of heated rivalry. The second last episode, there's a big scene, and that's the song. And then suddenly people are discovering this jam. I was all over that jam in like 04 or whenever
What a
it came
jam.
out.
We covered, Darcy's covered that. That was a wardroom
I'll believe in
special.
everything.
Yeah.
I'll believe in anything. I'll believe in anything.
I'll believe in anything.
Not everything.
Not
No,
everything.
anything.
That's
But
too far.
Spencer was in the calendar, and I shared this on a previous episode, but he was going to come on Toronto Mike. He's in BC, so Victoria or something. He's in BC.
Yeah.
And he was going to remotely join because of geography. But then he wrote me what I think is one of the nicest little notes to say, I'm sorry to do this, but he goes, I hate how I sound on podcasts, and I hate doing podcasts, and I would like to respectfully cancel our appearance. And I've been, a lot of times people just like, I had a guy in the calendar for a long time, and he just like last minute, he's like, oh, my car broke down, never rescheduled. Like, he's like, whatever, what's going on with that? This was the nicest, like, I'm not going to do your podcast, but don't take it personally. And I just wrote him back and I said, I totally get it. I understand. But next time you're in South Etobicoke, because he will be in he'll be in Toronto at least at some point. I said, just know that there's an open door. You can come in and do it in person, and it's not like a stressful thing. Dave, speak to him now. He's not listening, but pretend he is. Is this a stressful thing?
No, it's very relaxed. I don't do this kind of thing very often, but I feel like I'm just chilling with a guy and having a nice conversation. So Spencer, just come on by. It's gonna be chill.
Right. And we'll just do 90 minutes on heated rivalry. What's the harm in that? Just like Mike invites this guy over who wrote a book and said, let's talk about the Darcys for 90 minutes.
It's all right.
Here we are on Decafwolf. And yeah, so you said Wolf Parade. Who else? What are the other Wolf?
I feel like there was a period where it was like
think about it.
Wolf Mother.
Wolf Mother, yeah. That's are they Australian?
There were some Canadian ones. There was like We Are Wolves. There was like wolves on the throne, and there's something about a throne.
I believe not later. Wolf Mother, which I think...
There's a lot of wolf bands, man.
I feel like at some point, not at this time, but later, the Real Statics put out an album called Wolves.
Yeah, it was Here Come the Wolves or something.
Like before they did this Great Lakes thing they just did, which was rad.
Really cool.
They did the Here Come the Wolves or whatever.
Yeah. So, but
of course, you're younger than I am, but one of my first albums was Rio by Duran Duran, Hungry Like the Wolf.
We want to cover that. We want to do a Halloween show and do like
that.
I want to do like Espresso by. Oh wait, I'm giving it away. Well, it's too late now. I want to do like Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, and then Hungry Like the Wolf.
And my daughter likes Sabrina Carpenter, and I always remind her that Sabrina Carpenter's aunt is the voice of Bart Simpson.
Wow,
that's a mind blow. Dave, you can borrow that.
Oh my god!
You can have it.
That's cool.
I can't own fun facts. That's for the world.
Thanks for that.
I want to tell everybody I'm thoroughly enjoying my hot pop that has coffee in it. Like I didn't know what I would think of this. Troy Birch from Great Lakes left me a couple of cans. I put one in your pack, and I said I'm going to try one now. I love it. This is great. It's refreshing. It's tasty. I'm digging this. I just want to throw it into the universe that I'm digging this. So Decaf Coffee. Decafwolf is your band.
Yeah, I'll tell you a bit about Decafwolf.
Yeah.
So the way that it came about was I was finishing writing Deep Sea Feline, and I feel like after I left the Darcys, in my head I was like, okay, I feel like I'm done with music, and I was like, I'm going to be this writer person now. And then this really nice thing happened, which was my sister was moving, and she had the piano that was in our house when we were kids, and I had enough space for it in my house that I was living at the time.
Must be a millionaire.
Queen and Coxwell. Well, no, it was because I moved to Queen and Coxwell, like I don't know when that was, like 12, 13 years ago, and rent prices at Queen and Coxwell were still reasonable.
Right.
So I got the piano in there, and then. I had learned, actually, big shout out to the Chili Gonzalez reintroduction etudes piano book. I had worked through a bunch of that, so I had taught myself from being just a bassist to playing a little bit of piano. And then I just started sitting down at that piano and noodling around, and it was really nice because there was no expectation that I was going to do anything. I didn't have any plans, and I just started slowly putting together a collection of songs, and honestly, it was so pure because of that fact that I was just like not on a timeline, and it was just pure exploration and enjoyment.
Love it.
And then somewhere in there, I started figuring out how to record myself on Logic. And then once we got into the pandemic, what are you going to do?
Right.
You're going to make an EP in your bedroom. So I made this 5-song EP with the help of my dear friend, Andrew Latona, co-produced it with me. And he lives in Peterborough now, but if you look up Andrew Latona on the streaming services, he's got some fantastic records. So he co-produced the EP with me, and I put it out sort of as like a solo bedroom.
Is this Ventriloquist EP?
Ventriloquist EP.
Because we're listening to No Need.
Yeah.
From that very EP right
there
now.
There you go. Yeah, crank it up a little bit.
Sounds great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. I think it turned out really well, and we made it on like a very very, very low budget, and I think the songs sound really great, all things considered. So I made this EP, and then coming out of the pandemic, I got together with some friends to jam, and again, it was very organic. Where we went to the what's it called, like main stage, the rehearsal factory on Geary.
Yeah.
And we just were jamming just for the fun of it, and then I said, hey, I have this EP, I have these songs, do you guys want to learn how to play these songs with me? And then the first gig that we did, this is actually really cool, was the Deep Sea Feline book launch, which was on Geary, and it ended up coinciding with the Geary Art Festival,
which I love.
Which is awesome.
I saw Guh perform there with the aforementioned Cam Gordon.
Yeah. So my book launch, it kind of ended up getting swallowed up. It was like an unofficial event during the Geary Art Crawl. And so the book came out, Deep Sea Feline came out, I did a reading, and then we played. It was our first show. And then I remember the way I ended the night was at a rave at Queen's Park Circle, because I think when they do, because it was Nuit Blanche too, so it was like Geary Art Crawl, Nuit Blanche, like book launch.
What a Toronto day that was.
It was just so cool the way, I think it was like the is it the equinox in September, or is it the other one?
Can't remember.
The solstice.
I think it's the equinox.
I think it's the equinox. Anyway, so it was it was,
because the solstice is like December 21st or something like that. I feel like I saw like a burning thing in Kensington.
Well, because the solstice is like that's like the
winter solstice.
It's like the whole note. It's like the summer and the winter, and then the transitional ones are the equinox.
Okay, I'll call in an expert.
I don't know.
David Suzuki's online too here.
Anyway,
but I love how this, like, it's when a plan comes together, because the Decafwolf is now intersecting with Deep Sea Feline.
Yes,
and. Yeah. You had to be, but now I want to, unless you have wrap up something on Decafwolf, because you have to give me my gift.
Let me do I'll do a quick wrap up on that, because there's a couple other things worth mentioning, and I think I'm going to help you, because I think we can kind of segue this over to Deep Sea Feline. So one thing
who needs a segue on front of my
one thing that so then what's happening now with the band? We have this really great, amazing situation where our drummer and his partner, they live in a loft at the Sterling Lofts.
Oh, it smells like chocolate there, right?
I don't know if I've noticed that.
So Dundas and Sterling, I bike quite a bit, and it's a heavy smell of chocolate in there at Dundas and Sterling.
It's up by Bloor, so it might not be in the chocolate zone.
North, right.
But anyway, we have this really funky, awesome rehearsal space. So I was there last night. We just had a rehearsal, but we just put out, because I like things to be confusing, instead of a single, we put out something that we decided to call a double single. So that's 2 brand new songs that just came out last month. Drinking in My Dreams, Out of Man and Vodka. And that was produced as a band rather than me as my kind of like bedroom thing.
Right.
And we did a great release party at Basement 254. Shout out to Basement 254, a really great venue. So now I have like another 5-song EP that I've written that I want to make. I would love to get a bit of money for it or something. I don't know. We're going to try to do a grant or whatever. But so yeah, there's more stuff in the works. One thing that I did put out kind of as an Easter egg for people who read Deep Sea Feline is that in the novel, and you'll know this because you've read the novel, the song, the record that the protagonist puts out, the fictional record, is called Antidotes for Manic Toads. And I put out through Decafwolf, I recorded a track and released it so that people could listen to sort of my fictionalized version of what.
This is very, very much Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, because there's a song that plays a pivotal role in this film that you're going to see, because it's a very Toronto, very cool film. And the song is a real song put out by not Matt. Who's the other guy?
Jay McCarroll. Yeah. Who's
Jay,
a fantastic musician.
The band with his sister. Brave Shores.
Brave Shores. Yeah.
Yeah. I also have trouble saying Brave Shores. Okay. But it all, and we just played it on FOTM Cast if you're, a listener, and that was our Friday episode. We played that song. But yeah, it's very meta, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it so much. Like, hook it to my veins. Hook it to my veins. So, give me my damn gift, because then.
Oh, yeah. Let me. Yeah. So this is a shirt that. It's
I'm begging you. I'm begging you to gift me something. I'm begging you.
It's I learned a lot about how they make t-shirts. This one's direct.
Tell me, because the listenership wants t-shirts and I don't know anything about it.
Well,
so what? So you buy the t-shirt and then you get some.
So the company,
place?
Man, I wish I remembered the name. They would love it. But the thing I remember is like they were so I had to keep annoying the guy who designed it, because they were like, we need a higher dots per inch or DPI in the industry.
They need a high res.
But then the way that they did it, and they sent me it, so it's direct print, so it's not that there's anything wrong with it, but sometimes you get the thing where they it's almost like a sticker that's like on top of the shirt,
which doesn't feel good.
It doesn't
on your body,
I guess. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want
to stick to you and you're like spiking.
So the nice thing about these shirts, again, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole because the people I worked with were like shirt nerds. But it's direct print, so you don't feel like a textural difference.
What are you paying? Are you allowed to disclose?
Yeah, I can talk about that. It was I think the deal was like just under $2,000 for 100 shirts. So we do them at 30 per shirt, and it's not a great profit margin, but I feel like it just makes me happy because it's a great shirt.
Is that 20 per shirt, or does my math skills? It's been a while. Because you said, okay, hold on, I'm putting on my shirt.
You're putting a shirt on over your sweater.
Over my Great Lakes.
This is an interesting.
Because
look.
I need to wear it for the picture by the tree.
Oh, it fits you. This is great news.
Well, it fits me over the sweater. I'm worried. Because I'm a medium when I'm not wearing a sweater underneath the t-shirt.
Oh yeah,
this is a large.
I went large just as a safe bet.
Well, because I'm growing. I've been working on the gut all winter.
Well, you were sight unseen for me.
You know what? You should have said, Bedini, what kind of t-shirt size does this guy wear? But you said, if I'm hearing you correctly, you said for $2,000, you were getting 100 shirts.
I think that's right.
That's easy math, because I can do that in my head. That's $20.
Oh no,
right?
I meant I'm charging $30 a shirt.
Oh, you're charging. Yeah. Okay, because it's gonna be much lower.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm looking to see can I get some T-shirts to sell at my El Macombo gig, because I'm headlining the El Macombo on May 21st. And I was thinking about T-shirts, so I was gonna get some.
I'll get the people I worked with were really lovely.
Hook me up and I'll chat with them, because that would be cool to sell T-shirts at the Elmo gig. If you're taking a bath, why not make it a bigger fucking bath, right?
Sure. I mean, I like to take a bath. I like to take a big bath.
Do you bath? Do you bathe? I'm sorry.
I do, and yeah, I like to. I'm a big fan of reading in the bath. Is like a big.
Okay.
Joy.
Do you like candles?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do like candles.
I'm learning a lot about you, Dave. That's amazing. I haven't had a bath in a long time. Like, I'm a shower guy, because I don't know. Maybe I don't have the time. Or I don't know, but I have a radio in my bathroom, and I have it set to CBC Radio 1, and I'll have these showers, and I'll listen to CBC Radio 1. I could have a bath. Right?
I mean, try it, but don't force it.
Okay, but lighting candles, I think that would be...
I mean, it's good for self-care. Like, it helps you relax, Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the t-shirt. I appreciate it. Not enough guests bring me gifts. Tell me why you wrote Deep Sea Feline.
Oh, I mean, that's a great question. I think that...
Who are you to write a book is what I'm wondering. Come on, Dave.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it took me a long time to get up the gumption, because to be honest, that's a big question. I think people who are musicians people who really love music and books, and they think like, oh, I kind of want to try this out. Like, I feel like there's a big like thread of self-criticism where like I was writing short stories and making like demos and stuff for a long time where I just hated it and I hated myself, and I was like, why do I keep trying to do this? And I don't know, like, yeah, Deep Sea Feline was, I'd gotten to a point where I had some confidence, but it took me many years. There was a lot of stress around writing it, and it was very ambitious. And
how long did it take you to write? Like, when did you start writing Deep Sea Feline?
I think I had the idea when I left the Darcys. And then I think by the time it got to Bedini, so at one point, I'll talk about the process a little bit, because I really like sort of long wandering books, like for example, some of Haruki Murakami, who wrote 1Q84, which is, I don't know how long it is. It's like over 1,000 pages or something. And sometimes there's these sequences where it's like, there's like 100 pages and it's just like a character sitting on a bench outside of a subway station, just like making observations about people, and it's hypnotic. And so I wrote Deep Sea Feline, and the first draft was like, it was like 150,000 words, which is like, that's really long. That's probably like 500, 600 pages or something. And the first, so before Bedini took it on to represent it, what's his name? Great, really nice guy, Toronto agent, Ron Eckel is his name. Cook McDermott agency. He read it and he wrote back and he said, I really like this book. There's a lot of good stuff going on here, but you need to find 50,000 words to cut out of 140,000 words. So then I just thought, well, I'm fucked, and this book is just never going to get published. And then 6 months later, I kind of, dusted myself off and I went in there and I found the words to cut. And then what I think I figured out about myself as a writer is that I am maybe not so good as other writers at this trick where you can kind of have these long wandering ambient sections. So I have another book that I'm working on, the second draft now. And it was nice to know going into it that, like, okay, just tell a story, tell an exciting story, and don't fuck around too much. Just kind of,
But it sounds like it took a decade to birth Deep Sea Feline.
It took a long time. I mean, I think that part of that was that probably the draft that Bedini read was finished for like a couple years, and it just took that much time for me to find an agent who wanted to take it on. But it did, it did take a long time.
But how long do you think this next book? Do you even have a title? Like, I know we're talking about Deep Sea Feline here.
No, I mean, I'm happy to talk about the new one. That's like definitely more exciting to me. But it's their working title, which initially was kind of a troll, but I like it now. It's called Nocturnal Glowing Jungle Fungus.
Rolls off the tongue. I dig it, man.
And yeah, I mean, that I feel like I don't know, man. Like my life has been pretty busy and chaotic, and I feel like I keep thinking it's just going to take a couple years to write a book, and then it ends up being this whole like epic odyssey of like, I had probably written half of the first draft of Jungle Fungus when my son was born, and he's 2.5 now. And so it was so start-stop where like the year after he was born, like I didn't touch it. Like I didn't even get at it for a year.
Right, because you were at war.
Yeah, I was warring, to borrow a phrase from the Darcys.
Right.
But no, I don't know. It has been an easier process. I've had more fun with it. I have Bedini in my corner who's read it, he's read a draft of it, and just have the thing I would say about like the first time you write a novel, like you kind of go crazy. And one of the reasons for that is you do think, who am I to write a novel? Because there's a lot of people out there who are writing novels, and most of them don't get past the gatekeeper, don't get an agent, and then your agent has to find a publisher. So, you really feel like a salmon swimming upstream in a big way. And you kind of go crazy because you think, am I just deluded? Like, is this just like crap or dribble and like no one's ever going to read it? But for me, I mean, with Deep Sea Feline, for one reason or another, like I'm not that modest about it because I'm so proud of it. And I think it's a great fucking book. And I think that, most people, would really enjoy reading it.
Well, I agree. It's a great fucking book. So let's say you're in an elevator with somebody and you got, that's the elevator pitch. You need to explain to them what is Deep Sea Feline about, because we got to sell some books here.
Yeah.
How would you describe Deep Sea Feline to somebody in that elevator?
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah. So basically,
I mentioned you're in an elevator.
Basically, Deep Sea Feline is here's what we're looking at. So we've got our two main characters. We've got Charlie, and he is a sort of eccentric, chronically ill, shut-in musician who makes scores for nature documentaries and makes weird experimental ambient music. And then we have his best friend who he grew up with sort of as brothers, whose name is Greg, who is best described as a bon vivant and world famous opera singer. And he is much more active. He's got a wife, he's got a big family. He likes to get drunk and anyway, so you've got these two guys who are very much kind of foils to each other. And what happens is that the Charlie character does something very early in the novel that upsets the power balance between two ancient, long-forgotten gods, one of whom is the titular Deep Sea Feline, the other of whom is a gigantic chaos pelican, of course. And what happens is that a series of sort of biblical plagues, but in a fun way, descend upon the city of Toronto. And the characters, for one reason or another, realize they have to stage an epic, long-lost opera written by a Finnish man to restore the power balance. It's a little long.
Well, hopefully we were. It was a long elevator ride. Okay, so hopefully we were on like the 65th floor or something. We had to get down.
It was a slow elevator.
It was a slow elevator, but. How important was it to you, Dave, that this take place in Toronto? Because what I loved about it, which is what I loved about Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, is I've lately, and again, I've only lived in one city. At least you've lived in Halifax, okay? My daughter's living in Montreal, and I'm like, oh, she's like 22 years old. She's already lived in two great cities. I've never lived beyond the 416, okay? This is my cross to bear, if you will. But I love it when I see art, be it movie or read a book or whatever, and the backdrop is the actual Toronto that I'm biking every single day. Like I was reading about the art gallery. There's a bunch of Queen Street stuff, the Glen Gould Lounge. There's TTC references. Trinity Bellwoods is in this book. I love novels that take place in Toronto. How important was it to you that this take place in Toronto?
Oh man, first off, yeah, it was super important because when I was a, like adolescent teenager, like I remember we had an awesome creative writing teacher who would bring in Toronto authors, and there were some good ones. I particularly
Robertson Davies.
Well, no, I think he would have been maybe a bit old, but okay. Russell Smith was the one that I remember.
I'm dating myself. Fifth Business.
I do love Fifth Business though.
Well, did you have to study that? It was on our curriculum.
Fifth Business. Honestly, I think we had to read it. I actually have a very specific memory of sitting in math class with my math binder like tilted up, like reading Fifth Business, and my math teacher being like, what are you doing? Like, are you reading Fifth Business? Like, which is honestly like the classiest way to like,
oh, that's funny.
Fuck off from math class.
And what's Bread in the Bone? I remember a bunch of Robertson Davies, but
yeah, it's really Toronto stuff. So I do remember like, Angels and Demons is one that's a super Toronto book. And it's like U of T. There's this great character, Parlabane, but yeah, Russell Smith was Toronto, and it was very like hip and contemporary. So I got really excited, but then the other side of it though too, is that it was just a little bit lazy because I know Toronto better than any other place.
Well, you
in the
write
world.
what you know.
So even like the book that I'm writing now, I went traveling several years ago. And I ended up staying for 3 months in this expat village in Cambodia on the Gulf of Thailand. And it was just one of the weirdest places that I'd ever been. Like the culture there was so strange. And it was just people like partying in the jungle. Like
And these are all Canadians?
No,
You said
so it
expats.
was
What does that mean,
expats.
expats? Oh,
Expats
like-
just means someone who
I
has
thought
sort
you
of
meant expat Canadians.
well, there were Canadians, but it was
Okay.
a lot of Aussies,
Gotcha,
Americans,
gotcha.
but people from all over really. And and so I think for me, like it's just easiest to think, okay, well, this is a place that I know really well. I know a lot of interesting things about it, so I'm just going to put my characters in this playground. But I mean, I know that you're going to just agree with me on this, or at least like echo my sentiment. But the longer that I live in Toronto, like the more I love it. And I love just having like a deep knowledge of it. I love, I take transit, I bike, I drive, having been here as a kid, being here as like a guy in my 20s, being here as like a parent in my 40s now, where it all revolves around like taking your kid to like the aquarium and the ROM and the zoo. Like where I'm like, I haven't even been to the ROM or the zoo since I was like 10 years old,
Well, you played the ROM.
We played the ROM. Yeah. So there you go. So there's a lot of,
they're it hasn't been open since the 90s. And again, I got a lot of years on you, so you might not have the McLaughlin planetarium experience I had, but it was a big deal in the 80s that, your class would go and learn about the stars and planets and stuff. But they're currently bulldozing it because U of T is building this new building there. But yeah,
but they put that crazy new spaceship in where the dinos get to live now. So that's good.
That was the Crystal.
The Crystal. Yeah, I love that Crystal.
Michael Chin, I think, did that. Yeah,
love that Crystal.
Yeah, I watched it I was working at Avenue Road in Bloor, and from the window, I'd watch every day as that Crystal was being built.
It's awesome. I love in the summer when you're biking on Bloor and you bike past it, then they leave the lights on. Did you know that?
I don't know if I knew that.
They leave the lights on so that if you walk past the museum at night, you can see all the dinos all lit up.
Okay, well, listen, I got to pay attention to that.
It's a very writerly observation.
that'll be in the next book. But I love so we're on the same page in that I feel Toronto's got a rich history. I feel art is less afraid today to be Toronto. Like I feel like we used to, like when they filmed stuff here, they used to pretend it was like New York or Chicago or something. But I feel like maybe since Scott Pilgrim versus the World, that unabashedly, no, Toronto can play itself now.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, it's funny. I'm going to give another shout out to Bedini because I'm reading his...
As you should.
I'm reading his book right now, Writing Gordon Lightfoot, which it actually is not that much about Gordon Lightfoot, and he recommended it to me because he said it's his trippiest and most spiritual book. Whoa. And there's a line in it. I think he's quoting someone. You know how he always puts together all these cool patchworks of quotes, and it's someone talking about Mariposa in 1972 and talking about Toronto's reputation, and the person says something like, there's something about Toronto where for North Americans it's at once familiar and exotic at the same time, because it's like Canada, it's Canada, it's weird, it's this different country, but then of course it can stand in for New York, so there's the money's different, but the coffee chains are the same or whatever.
That's a good observation. I'm currently reading a book about the 1926 Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team. Mm-hmm. So that's because it's the 100-year anniversary, and it's all about, and this author, who's actually coming on next week to talk about it, does a really good job of painting the picture of what was Toronto in the 20s. Like Toronto in the 20s, the 1920s, undergoes this great, it completely changes. The TTC arrives, and it's you wouldn't recognize the city from a decade earlier, and you kind of see the rise of Toronto. But I think for a long time, mainly before my birth, but for a long time, we were second fiddle, that Montreal was the go-to city. Montreal was the cool city. They got the MLB team long before we got the Blue Jays. So they got the Expo in 67. Was it 67 for the Centennial, right? And then 76 was the Olympics. They got the Olympics in 76. And of course, they had the Expos. Montreal, and I feel at some point, Toronto said, step aside, we're the go-to spot in this country. Mm-hmm. There you go. A little bias there. We're both Toronto guys.
Sure, yeah. But, I also you gotta love Montreal. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not even meaning to trash Montreal, except that Montreal is also a great city, differently great. But I do enjoy my visits to Montreal. I'll be there in late May.
Nice.
Because my daughter's convocation takes place in late May from McGill. Yeah, I can't wait. So that's all the stuff you get to look forward to. Paying tuition bills for your child. Mm-hmm. So be saving those.
Oh, yeah. Save
those pennies,
save
man.
the shekels, yeah.
If you could choose how a person listening to us right now purchases Deep Sea Feline, like how do you want them to buy this book?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I have a really good relationship with the people at Book City. Have been really awesome. So they have 4 locations around the city. I'm in the east, so I hit up the one at the Danforth and on Queen a lot. And so they've been really cool. And so I would say buy it at an independent bookstore would be, number one. And if they don't have it, a really good way to help out authors and local authors is if they don't have the book, get them to do a special order and go pick it up. So yeah, Queen Books is great in the East End too. But yeah, support independent, man. Like I feel very strongly about that.
No, love to hear it. And again, your Toronto life, have you always lived east of Yonge?
No, sir. So in the Darcys times, actually, so I feel like I was a kid in Toronto and that was a version of the city. And then I went away to Halifax. And when I came back, I was really lucky because I had some friends who were living in a house. It's kind of iconic. It's a blue house. It's in Kensington Market and it's right across from Ronnie's. And I got a room. I got to live for I was $300 a month or something. And I got to live. That was my first place as an adult in Toronto. Was in the heart of Kensington Market, drinking pints on the Ronnie's patio, and it was awesome. And so in my 20s, in the Darcys times, I lived there, and then I lived at Bloor and Ossington for a very long time.
Okay, so you got some West End experience there at Kensington Market and Bloor and Ossington. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, when I left the band, I was so associated with the West End and being, this guy who was in the Darcys and the music scene, that it was cheaper to live at Queen and Coxwell at that point. But then the other benefit was I kind of just wanted a bit of a change up and a change of scene and a little bit of a fresh start. But that's the cool thing about moving to the East End from the West End is that you're kind of moving to a different town.
Well, the reason I ask is for a long time, I didn't do much at all east of Yonge, for a long time. I now do a lot of shit east of Yonge. But if you want to go see, now I know history is there now and there's always the Opera House or whatever, but the most music venues are in the West End. All the sports venues are in the West End.
Yeah.
So a lot of I'm going to see, I'm going to go see TFC, or I'm going to go see the Raptors, or I'm going to go see a concert at the Dome, or I'm going to go to Molson Amphitheater. I'll keep naming all the things you could do in the city. Okay, Dave, you got another hour. But almost all of these things typically would definitely be west of Yonge. So maybe I made some snarky remarks in the past of what was happening east of Yonge, but the more time I spend east of Yonge, I'm it's different, but it's also great. There's east of Yonge is great, west of Yonge is great, different grades, but different vibes.
Yeah.
And you're digging the east of Yonge vibe.
I love it. I mean, for me now, I'm a much mellower person than I used to be. And if there's fun stuff going on in the West, I can only really get out once a week, once every couple of
Geary
weeks.
Street Art Crawl, that's in the West. I'm going to name all these things.
So yeah, for me, in the summer too, riding my bike across the city and doing something fun in the West.
Right. Taste of Italy
great.
is West.
The East End is it's more family friendly. It's kind of I have a big dog. I don't know. It feels like there's more space.
I don't know about that. Okay.
I mean, it feels like there's a lot more green. Maybe there's more green space.
I don't know. We got High Park.
That's true. High Park's great.
High Park, I think it's the second biggest park in the city.
I don't know. Maybe what I mean is I do find it generally the energy is a bit mellower.
You know what I think? I think we can agree right now. East of Yonge, west of Yonge, both great, both important, vital cogs in this wonderful wheel we call Toronto.
The Wheel of Toronto.
The Wheel of Toronto. And your book, and again, I hope I was clear, I loved how it took place in Toronto, and I could read about the AGO and all about on Queen Street and Glengold Lounge and Trinity Bellwoods and TC. I loved it, but I love the book, and I urge all listeners to get a copy of Deep Sea Feline by Dave Hurlow. Don't you dare miss it. Dave, how was your Toronto Mike debut?
I had honestly a lovely time.
Don't act so surprised.
It's been great.
Don't leave without your lasagna and your beer, okay, buddy? We're going to take a picture by Toronto Tree. And you're now an FOTM, friend of Toronto Mike. So we will see each other again, and I can't wait to find out when. I took a note on the name so I wouldn't forget it. Nocturnal Glowing Jungle Fungus. I can't wait for its release. Invite me to the launch.
I will. Thanks, man. It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks for doing this. Always great to do a deep dive into the Darcys. The Darcys were better when you were in the band. Can I say that, or is that mean?
I mean, I think it's objectively true. Everybody knows it.
I don't know what the others are saying, but that's how I feel. And that brings us to the end of our 1,875. 1875. Wow. Go to torontomike.com for all your Toronto Mike needs. And at the top of torontomike.com, there is a link that says Elmo Gig. Click that link and buy multiple tickets to see me on May 21st at the Elm Combo, also in the West End, Dave. Got to shout out all the West End stuff going on here. Buy a ticket or two. Rob Pruce from Spoons and Honeymoon Suite, he'll be on stage with me. Heck, maybe Dave will be on stage with me. Who knows? We're going to broker that deal later. But come on out. My one-man show. Don't you dare miss it. Much love to all who made this possible. That is Great Lakes Brewery. Dave's got his beer. Love GLB. Palma Pasta. Dave's got his lasagna. Love Palma Pasta. Nick Iones. Love that guy. Great friend. Great client. Great event on last Thursday. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. I know you wrote that down. You'll be going there tonight. And Ridley Funeral Home. You've got your measuring tape. We got a new episode of Life's Undertaking recording tomorrow. Can't wait to see Brad Jones. My next guest, I'm in real time, Dave. You're witnessing how this cake gets baked. I'm going to my Google Calendar. This is real time happening right now because it's a busy week. I want to shout it out before Rush hits. Oh, there's Rush right now. My goodness, I'm late. Okay, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. on the live stream, Jeremy Hopkin. We have a special guest. It's about the history of burlesque in Toronto. Jeremy and a special guest will be in the basement for his quarterly. And then at 2 p.m., Ed Keenan from the Toronto Star drops by. So it's a doubleheader tomorrow. And then this is exciting. On Thursday at 2 p.m., Dr. Brian Goldman comes over. We're going to find out how realistic is the pit. Is that what it's like when Brian Goldman is working in our emergency rooms here in Toronto? We'll find out 2 p.m. Thursday. See you all then.